For Crema Media's Polity, I'm Sane Dhlamini. Researcher and analyst Professor Raymond Suttner joins me for Suttner's View, a weekly commentary on South Africa's political scene. Welcome, Professor.
Thank you.
We are in the middle of celebrating or bringing more awareness on the violence against women and children. However, a lot of people are of the view that not much has been done to bring this awareness. What is your take?
Well, I don't think government has done enough in regard to preventing violence against women in terms of police readiness. I mean, there's a lot of studies that have shown the police are not ready. But I don't think we should be focusing on that alone. But let's say there have been studies in recent times which show that of the police stations in the country, a range of forensic items related to the commission of alleged rape go missing, or they don't have the equipment, and also there are a number of situations that make it very difficult for people to report rape because there's an unsympathetic atmosphere. They don't give the complainant privacy, a number of things like that. And in any case, it's well known that the number of people who report rapes are much lower than the number of actual rapes. But we need to ask not just what has government done, because as far as I'm concerned, my freedom, I don't believe that my freedom depends on government. I'm not begging government to give me my freedom. I fought for my own freedom, and I believe that in the present, if we want to end violence against women and children, we must not only say government implement the Sexual Offences Act, government make sure there are charges. We must also, as a body of citizens, examine what we can do about the extent to which violence against women and children is validated and treated as of little consequence, where you have the situation where women live with a rape that has occurred and feel too scared, too ashamed to raise it for years. Like Jennifer Ferguson reports a rape by Danny Jordan 23 years after the event. Jennifer Ferguson is a very famous singer, and if she is shy to do it, what happens to children in a family where the family say to them, look here, just forget about your uncle, keep quiet about it, never happened. And we've got to change, not just government, also got to change the way in which the girl child and women's bodies are seen. They are not bodies which are accessible to every man to do what they want. Now, it's interesting this is called 16 days of no violence against women and children, and not 16 days of no gender-based violence. Now, it's interesting because neither are wrong, because gender covers violence against women and children, but I think the importance of calling it no violence against women and children is that we need to avoid obliterating the significance that most of the victims, almost all of the victims, or 90%, well, we don't have statistics, so maybe I'm wrong, are actually women and children. And the concept of gender covers the fact that many men are attacked as being gay and things like that. And however, let this 16 days focus on the violence against women, women who may be intimate partners, women who may be lesbians, women who may be intersexed or transgender, whatever it happens to be. And we have to focus on this and raise the consciousness, not just of that people understand it, but that we as a nation must not tolerate it. Whether the police act or not is important, but we also, in our own consciousness, need to understand that violence against women and children is unacceptable.
Our President Jacob Zuma didn't attend the launch, and then the DA went on to say that the ANC is dead. Do you think that maybe this campaign is politicized?
Well, you know, I think when the president doesn't attend, well, when the president does attend and does say there's no tolerance of gender-based violence or violence against women, it's not very convincing to me to have someone like him propagating this. It's important that everyone propagates it, but given his record, I wouldn't place a lot of weight on it. But I do think that he should have the decency to attend these events. Whether it's being politicized or not, probably the DA will tries to politicize a range of things like this. But the main thing is that the government officials should turn up for events. But personally, I don't have high expectations from the president in regard to anything, but especially this.
And Raymond, in your past interviews that we've done with you, you've always emphasized the spirit of Ubuntu. Do you think that maybe that will also play a role in helping our communities maybe bring more awareness to this issue of violence against women and children?
No, I don't emphasize the spirit of Ubuntu. What I've said is Ubuntu is a concept which comes from a proverb that has a progressive, caring meaning. But it's been appropriated for a number of different purposes. And I would be a little bit worried about just throwing around the word Ubuntu, because Ubuntu Armed Response uses it, Ubuntu Financial Services use it, Archbishop Tutu uses it, so that I don't use Ubuntu for things like this. I just think you must make your case, and it is in line with how I understand Ubuntu, but the overall understanding of Ubuntu amongst the people of South Africa is varied. And just like we face for violence, we face the problem of making violence against women become accepted as a real problem which we must all address and stop violent masculinity, stop men growing up as rough, tough people. Equally, Ubuntu, we must argue for a meaning. Some of the meanings that some people give to Ubuntu are patriarchal. So I would be, if you look at Professor Mahobe, I think his name is Mahobe, Ubuntu, the African philosophy of Ubuntu, his notion of Ubuntu is patriarchal, hierarchical. So it would be very problematic for me to use Ubuntu without elaborate qualification as to how I understand it, which is not as a hierarchical, not as a patriarchal notion, because Ubuntu can be used in a way that is not favorably related to gender equality, so I wouldn't invoke it here.
And lastly, I haven't heard anything maybe from the religious groups emphasizing this awareness. Do you think that maybe they should be in the forefront of bringing this awareness?
Look, I haven't kept a stock of who's done what, but I think all of us, in our own way, must commit ourselves. In my case, I'm not making a public statement, but I'm looking at I'm trying to introspect and ask myself what I've been doing, which is wrong, and try to find ways of remedying that. And the religious community has their congregations, they can address them like a number of other civic bodies in society.
Thank you, Raymond. That was Professor Raymond Suttner speaking to Crima Media's Polity about 16 days of activism for no violence against women and children.